Welcome to part 3 of High Heels, Cigarettes, and Secrets. Let's pick up where we left off. So the last you might remember, Ron said that he had just left his wife, told my mom he just left his wife. So let's pick up where we left off. I was shocked. I didn't expect it or understand. Only 4 days ago, I explained I'm soon getting a divorce, and before I tell my husband, he's telling me that he left his wife. He, at that moment, took my love off the shelf. It had been sitting there for 2 years. Altogether, the relationship had been approximately 5 years to this point. He moved in with his dad and stepmom. November and December of 1977, I was in love. But still, we didn't have each other. He was at his dad's and I was home with my children. No more husband since November 24th. While I was married, about 3 years before the divorce, I'd bought myself a studio condo in a unique seaside town. My view is of the whole peninsula all the way to Monterey. The waves coming in to kiss the shore and the park-like setting in front of me. A truly beautiful corner of the world. A setting that brings me peace, relaxation, and a content, special feeling of security and love. I'm actually here right now, and I'm going to cut to a video so you can see what I'm talking about. Roll the clip. This is the condo in Capitola, California that my mom purchased, I think, in 1974. And soon you're going to see the reason she purchased this place. Look at that view. You can see all the way to Monterey. It's amazing. Pretty nice place, huh? Let's get going. Ron and I spent a lot of time at the ocean. It was only about an hour and 15 minutes from home. We didn't work much. We just enjoyed as much time as possible together. We decided to spend New Year's Eve at the ocean for the whole week. We were driving there, and he says, "What would you say if I were to tell you I'm going back to my wife?" My heart fell out of my body. I answered, "If that's true, turn this car around and take me back home." With that, he said, "I'm just kidding." And I believed he was. The week was fantastic. We went to the show and saw You Light Up My Life, which he did. New Year's Eve, we invited friends for dinner. I cooked and loved it. Just before midnight, we walked to the top of the bluff, stood looking out at the ocean, kissed, loving each other, I thought, and held each other saying, "Happy New Year's, baby." This truly was the height of being in love. It was the greatest New Year's Eve of my life. The next day we stayed in bed, watching bowl games, eating and playing. And when she says playing, I think that means sex, just so you know. Eating and playing the whole day. I was completely in love. We had decided to go home the next day. We couldn't pull ourselves away, but finally got back home at 9:30 at night. I dropped him off at his dad's house, and he said, "I'll call you later." He didn't. The next day, he still hadn't called. And then I knew he hadn't been kidding. He was back with his wife. My God, my whole life dropped to pieces all around me. It reminded me of a 1,000-piece puzzle being thrown around the room. There were pieces of me were stuck to the ceiling, the walls, and all over the floor of my bedroom. It was a terrible feeling. He finally called that evening to say, "I want to see you. I need to talk to you." I answered with, "That's not necessary. I already know, and all I have to say is you've just taken all the light out of my life, and I love you very much." With tears in my eyes, I hung up and completely fell apart. The 1,000-piece puzzle became 2,000 pieces. My waking hours were spent with tears in my eyes. The only piece was to sleep. I would sleep as often as I could for a week. I'd sleep 14 hours a day with my arms wrapped around myself, desperately trying to hold myself together. I knew I had to put the puzzle of myself back together to survive, but it was so hard to grab onto that first piece. So she included a poem after that, and I think it's a bit of advice for anyone that's kind of stuck in love with a married man. So here you go. One thing for sure, it's a losing game, but yours is different, you say. Don't waste your life. Don't fool yourself like me. Please know 95% always end the same. Hooray for the 5%, but is it worth the chance you take? I know there is no one to blame but myself. I'd hope someone would read this page one day and save themselves that oh so special kind of pain. Then she goes on to say, who am I kidding? It was the most exciting, spectacular love of my life. But you're left with only half a heart to give, for the other half will always remain filled with the memory of him. Okay, we're going to stop there and I'm going to pick it up. It's going to be part 4 next, so if you don't want to miss that, hit the subscribe button, give me some likes, and hit the bell and you'll know when the next story is ready. Until then, thank you.